to another video. Today I am going to be sharing with you the books that I read in December and the books that I plan on reading in January. December was a good reading month for me. I read 8 books in December, and I'm pretty good with that because school and grossness. And I guess I will just show you guys what I have. The first book I read this month was Freak Boy by Kristen Elizabeth Clark. I read this book because I found it, my school librarians, because I work in my library, they got this book and I wasn't quite sure about it, but then I saw it and I was convinced. Once the book is in front of me, I just go into this thing and I have to have the book with me right now. So I picked this up, and it was my very first book in verse, and let me tell you, it was really, really awesome. Probably one of the best that I read this month. I mean, in December, not this month, it's January. But yeah, it was really good. It's about a boy, what's his name? Named Brendan, and he's the star athlete. He has a perfect girlfriend and everything, but then he realizes that he might want to be his girlfriend, and he's not sure if he is gay or if he's transgendered or what's going on, and it's told in 3 different perspectives. Brendan's, his girlfriend, what's his girlfriend's name? Vanessa, and then a person who works at like a teen group kind of place, counseling place, named Angel. And if you are looking for a good book to start out with verse, I would recommend this one because it was really good. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. The second book I read this month was Hamlet by William Shakespeare. I read it in my English class, and the only other Shakespeare play that I had read before Hamlet was A Midsummer Night's Dream, which just so happens to be the play that I'm going to be in this upcoming, I think, March. I'm going to be Peter Quince, if any of you have read that play, but sidetracked over. Yeah, I had never read any other Shakespeare play besides A Midsummer Night's Dream, so I was really excited to see if I would like it. And it wasn't my favorite play, but I think it's a really good analysis play. It's a very good play to read in school. I don't think I would have liked it if I read it by myself, but because we analyzed it in school and everything, I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3 stars out of 5, which is really good for school books for me because I barely ever give school books over a 3. So yeah, it was pretty good. Then I read How to Ruin a Summer Vacation by Simone Alcalés. I was trying to read this trilogy before I read Wild Cards because I was so super duper excited for Wild Cards, but I think that Wild Cards is gonna go a little bit later now because I really want to finish this, and I don't really want to continue with this series at the moment. I am gonna continue it in some time, but I'm not gonna marathon it as I thought I would. This book still has Simone Alcalés's, like, her voice and that funniness that she has that I love in all her books. It's just that I couldn't get in touch with the main character. I felt like she was rude. What's her name? Amy. I felt like she was rude at times and overdoing things, and it really didn't pick up until like the last about 50 pages, and I couldn't put it down after that. So, but then I read the synopsis for the second book, and I'm not quite sure if I want to continue. This book is about a girl named Amy, and she lives in America, and her dad is from Israel, and her mom and dad, like, had her when they were really young, so they're not together anymore, but her dad takes her to Israel for the summer, and she really doesn't want to go. She hates her dad. She calls him the sperm donor, and so yeah, and then she kind of meets a boy, and it goes off from there. So it was kind of an interesting book. Like I said, it took a long time to start up, but I am going to continue with the series, just not right now. I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I listened to in my car is Insurgent. I'm just holding up this book because I gave the audiobook back to my local library. But the next book that I listened to was Insurgent by Veronica Roth. It was a reread. I just wanted to listen to both Divergent and Insurgent. I listened to Divergent last month, so I listened to Insurgent this month, so then I could get ready for Allegiant, which I'm probably going to be reading next month. I don't have it with me at the current because my friend borrowed Allegiant from me, even though I borrowed it from the library. Don't tell anyone. But yeah, and everyone's been talking to me about Allegiant, saying that they love it, they hate it, and so I have no idea, but it made my best friend bawl, and we have very, very similar crying moods. So if she cried, it's all over for me. And like always, I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. And the next book I read was Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. This is one of the books that was on my top 13 books in 2013. I cannot remember what number it is. I think it's like 11, 12, 13. No. Well, yeah, it's on there though. But this was my first Neil Gaiman really, really awesome book. I wasn't planning on ever reading Neil Gaiman because I was just super intimidated, and I thought he only wrote for adults, and I thought that I wasn't gonna like it. But this was a really, really great book. It's like about a man who goes back to his hometown in England, and he goes back to the house that he grew up in, and we just kind of follow him as he flashes back to a time in his life where things kind of went crazy, and there's like supernatural elements, and literally I cannot put this book down for like a good time. If I really, really had the time for it, I probably would have read this in one sitting. It was really good. There were just a couple of things that I had problems with. Some of the description was kind of crazy and I couldn't understand, but then after I read it over a few times, I got it. And if you haven't read Neil Gaiman, I would tell you guys to read this one. And if you guys have read any Neil Gaiman, please, in the doobly-doo, let me know which of his other books are good, because, I don't know, which are your favorite, because I'm pretty sure a lot of them are good. Yeah, but I really like this, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then I read the second book in the Giver quartet, and it's Gathering Blue. The Giver was possibly one of my favorite rereads that I read last year. It was so good. And then I read this, and this was a huge disappointment. If I hadn't read The Giver and this was the first book in the series, I probably wouldn't be continuing. But because The Giver was so good, I am going to continue. This book was, I don't even know what it was. It took me forever to read it, and I did not like the way that the story was told. I didn't really like the story. I just kind of wanted to know what happened at the end of at The Giver, because there was a huge cliffhanger, and this didn't really satisfy me. So yeah, I gave it a 2.5 stars, and that, like, I feel bad giving it that rating because I loved The Giver, and I'm gonna read The Messenger and Son, but right now I'm not really looking forward to it because this was such a big disappointment. Then I read The Second Summer of the Sisterhood by Anne Brashares. It's the second book in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants series. I read the first book, I think, 2 months ago in my car. I listened to it in my car because I was just at random needed something to listen to while I was waiting for the Divergent book on tape, and this was good. I had no intention of reading this series, and now I'm probably going to read all of them by the time I go to college, because this is just, it's wonderful. I love all the girls. I think Lena is my favorite, but all of them are so close that I don't even know if I can name a favorite, because sometimes all of them are just so amazing. And I gave this book a 3.5 stars. It wasn't as good as the other one, but I was so familiar with the other one's story that I wasn't really expecting too much, and this one was a brand new story, so I already knew that I was in love with the other one, and I cannot wait to see what happens to these girls, because I'm loving it. The final book that I read this month was Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Zepetes, I hope. I read this with my library book club, and I kind of didn't read it on time with them, but I still wanted to finish it. This book was good. It's about a Lithuanian girl named Lena, I don't know. They're hauled away from their home in cattle cars, and they're shipped to Siberia, and we don't really know what's going to happen to her because I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's historical fiction. It wasn't my favorite. I felt like sometimes the story took a little bit long to move along, and I really had a hard time connecting with these characters emotionally. Like, if something really sad would happen, I just couldn't really feel anything because I wasn't connected to the characters emotionally, and I don't know if that's on my part for reading so slow or if it's the writing, but it wasn't my favorite. It was still a really good book. Gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and I would still recommend read it. It wasn't my favorite, but if you really like historical fiction, I think you would probably enjoy this read. Okay, that's all I have for the books that I read in December, and now for the books that I plan on reading in January. I don't really have a theme or anything for this month. I checked out a whole bunch of books out of my school library, and now I think I'm just gonna probably try and finish those, so here we go. I'm currently reading This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. I'm not that far into it at all, but honestly, I thought it was going to be more. I thought, like, the first couple of lines would go on and I would be hooked, and right now I'm just kind of like, the main character is kind of annoying me, and I'm not really enjoying the way that it's being told. I'm really waiting for something to happen. Well, things have happened, but like I'm just waiting for the part that's in the synopsis. Currently reading How to Love by Katie Coutinho. I think this one's going to be done this month. I mean within this week. It's picking up a little bit more. I think it's at my fault for reading it for so long that I'm not really attached to it too much. But it's good. Not my favorite. Not as good as I thought it would be, but it's there. Good. Golden Boy by Abigail Tartellin. And I am that far in it. And guys, this book is really good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. I kind of just thought of this one, picked up this one off of a whim, and literally I feel like this would be the book that I would speed through out of all of them, but the topic is something so important and something that I want to really ponder on and think. So I'm not speeding through this book like I probably would if it was another if it was about something else, but I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's probably going to be done within the week or so too. I'm working on A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. It's actually really off to a good start. In the first one, I was kind of really starting off slow, but this one I'm kind of like, I'm already like 70 pages in, and it's picking up. I think it's probably because I'm familiar with all the characters and this world, and I'm not really having to start over. I'm waiting for someone to die, because everyone knows that in these books everyone dies, so I'm just kind of waiting and biting my fingernails and ready to cry. Loveliness. And pretty soon I'm going to be starting Crank by Ellen Hopkins. Haven't read any Ellen Hopkins. I really like books in verse, so I thought I would try this one out. I'm going to be reading Butter by Erin Jade Lange, I think. Guys, when my librarian got this book, I already had like 5 books. I had already had like 8 books checked out, and because I'm the library assistant, I can check out more than the limit of 5, and I already had 8 checked out, and then they ordered this book, and I was like, why are you doing this to me? Why? And I swear they love it. They love it, but they got this book, and this was one of my most anticipated of 2013, and I was just like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it, so I got it, and I think this is probably going to be the next one that I pick up. I'm really excited for this one. I can't even explain it. This one sounds so good. It's like about this boy who announces his plan to eat himself to death by eating butter, I think. No, the boy's name is Butter. Yeah, he has a website and he's gonna eat himself to death. And people actually watch. So I don't know what's gonna happen if he goes through with it, but I just know it sounds amazing. Then I have Tumble and Fall, which is another one of my most anticipated of 2013, but this book has probably the lowest Goodreads rating that I have ever seen. It has like a 2.86, and this book sounds awesome. It's like a pre-apocalyptic book, so it happens on the day that the world is supposed to end, which sounds amazing. This cover is gorgeous, but the thing that I think a lot of people are getting hung up on is that it's in third-person present tense, and I've tried to read a book in third-person present tense, and I kind of cringed all the way through it. So I'm hoping that this one would be done differently. I'm really going to try because this story sounds awesome, but I'm really kind of scared. I'm scared. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoy this video. If you've read any of the books that I talked about today, please leave in the comments what you thought about them. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful booktastic day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!